right, here we are. How you doing, friends? Ernie here. And this is the 0 Days to Expiration podcast. After about a 2-week hiatus to conduct an experiment. That's right. We conducted an experiment. When I say we, it's not just me saying we, it's my posse, my service. Yeah, we conducted an experiment with 0 days to expiration. Now, if you've been following this podcast for a while, then you know that 0 days to expiration refers to trading options on the last day of expiration for the S&P, whether it's the SPX, the index, or the E-mini futures. We trade the very last day because of the extraordinary edge that you get from premium decay. We also inject our own version of technical analysis, looking at the market structure through volume profile. We don't use any of that hocus pocus, magical technical analysis, mumbo jumbo, or numerology, or any of those other things. We only use things that are real, in the real world. Real world, the actual trades that were traded, conducted at price levels. And from that, we can determine the market structure, and that begets what we can ascertain. Why am I using all these words? Come on, Ernie. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that we can really predict price behavior on how it actually enters that market structure and be able to get a good handle on and develop scenarios on where price is likely to go. And from that, we can then, we also look at things like open interest and the options chain and the volume profile itself and where those volume nodes are and where the volume wells or the absence of volume are. All of that are clues that tell us where price can potentially go. Once we have that in mind, we model it with an options trade. And this is the key right here. That options trade, we make sure that it has asymmetric properties. Asymmetric properties so that the risk is extremely small relative to the potential profit. That asymmetry is really what it's all about. Asymmetry gives us a positive expectancy in the long run. The volume profile provides us with a high probability scenario where we're pretty sure where price is going to go, except for today. It's going in the opposite direction now. Anyways, it provides us with a high probability scenario about where price is going to go, and so we place a trade. Now, this asymmetric trade, this options trade that we do, it takes advantage of the fact that premium is decaying at its fastest rate of any other time in its history, in its lifetime for that contract, that last day. And we take advantage of that. That premium decay happens at an extraordinary rate. And so we put on an options premium collection strategy using asymmetric principles or asymmetric setup so that the risk is very small, but the reward is potentially gargantuan compared to the risk. What is gargantuan? Well, generally the minimum risk to reward that we will take is 1 to 5. But generally we're looking for 1 to 10, 1 to 15, sometimes even 1 to 20. And that's pretty cool considering that we have such a small time window that we have to figure out where price is going. And there's so little time left. You wonder, how could there be that much premium left in it? Well, here is the kicker. And that's what this episode is all about. Not only in that last day is there a lot of premium, but everything that I had said up to now about the last day applies equally so or more so to the very final hour of expiration. That last hour takes everything that I said about the last day and multiplies it by a gazillion. No, well, not really, but that last hour, there's plenty of premium left. It's easier to figure out where price is going, believe it or not, because now you have less time and now you also have the benefit of that entire day's price action and volume and news that came out, you know everything. You know everything. Everything there is to know about that day. And now you have to figure out, well, where is price going in that last hour? Maybe even the last 30 minutes. 30 minutes is cool. As a matter of fact, today, there will be I think it's our eighth experiment on the Final Hour Tour that I will be holding at 3:30 today. So after this podcast is over, we will be starting up another live stream showing trading that last 30 minutes of the... Well, actually, we start a little bit earlier. We do all the things that I had said before, the setup, the analysis, etc. And then we'll go on live and we'll show that trade. And you're more than welcome to follow along. I've set up YouTube so that the live stream has ultra low latency. So everything that I say will be in near real time. And we'll show you how we do that last hour trade, the final hour. The final countdown. Please excuse me. Anyways, that's what came to mind. That last hour, we will trade. And just as a prelude to all of that, we've done this, as I said, 7 other times live before. Of those 7 times, I believe we are now 6 out of 7. Of the times that we've done it, we tried a couple of times before going on the live show, and we're about 9 out of 10. So far, pretty good. The failing, I think, has been on Wednesday, yesterday, and Monday. Although they were winning days, we missed out on a great deal of profit by exiting the trade a little early. Now, I'm not talking about the last hour trade. I'm talking about our regular 0DTE trade. And had we stayed with it, because the 0DTE trade basically used the same setup as the full day trade, or at least the same target. And those trades were successful. So all in all, it was a good day. But had we taken the original trade and not got out of it, we would have done much better. But I digress. It seems that this last hour, at least with this very small sample that we've done so far, has a much higher expectancy of profit. 10 tries is not something that you can build a statistical model on. However, we have been doing the 0DTE trade now for over a year, and from there we have very good evidence. And so now extending that to the final hour seems to make that even more so. In other words, we have a very, very high confidence that this is going to be a thing, and we're going to do this going forward. So the experiment so far has been a resounding success. Of course, the more times that we do it and the more times that we show success in multiple different types of market conditions will bolster that efficacy of this trade even more. And so that's what we're really looking for. We're looking for repetitiveness. Do this over and over and over and over. Of course, me saying this, when I do the edit, Descript is going to tell me, get rid of all those overs. You're under the overs. So, again, last hour of expiration. Now, here's the interesting thing. We're trading primarily the SPX, the index. And that final hour brings with it very, very specific problems in trying to maintain a price. We don't know exactly where price is going to go. We're more or less trying to figure out where we're going to be, and price is going to meet us there, right? We're going to say, hey, price, we're going to be here at 345. Can you be there? We don't actually ask it, but we assume that it heard us earlier, do our analysis, and said, Ernie said we're going to be there, so that's where we're going. Not quite so. But that's really what it comes down to. It's not like we all just hang around for the day and say, hey, we're not going anywhere today. This is where we're hanging out. We're just going to collect the premium. It is coming together at that last moment. Now, there are a lot of things that will tell us that price has a high likelihood that it will be there. One is, well, some people use a concept called max pain. Max pain is where all the puts and the calls that are in the world, all the people that are holding puts and calls that are going long, there's a point or some specific price level between the puts and the calls where all the longs would experience pain and all the puts would experience pain, somewhere between the two. And there is some maximum amount of pain that if you picked a single price when you take the aggregate of both sides. And there's a theory that says, well, price will try to end up there. And as theories go, it's an okay theory, but it's not really that perfect. And it only happens about, 25% of the time. But when it does, it's pretty cool. But it's not enough to build a strategy off of. What is more likely to happen is there will be a specific strike or a cluster of strikes that will have an extraordinary amount of volume, open interest, and then volume following on to that. And those combined with the market structure and then the price action usually give us a really good indication of where price is likely to end up. Now, I may be giving away the whole store here. I don't know. I don't think so. You don't know anything about our volume profile and how we actually analyze that. But I would say if you would like to know about it, go to 0-dte.com/try and you get a 4-week trial. We've got about 600 members right now after about a year, and really a vibrant community. We have beginners to professional traders. They all support one another. It's really great. Now, this is not an alert service, by the way, just so you know. We are not an alert service. In fact, this service is quite a bit different than any other financial advisory alert service that you've ever been involved with. For one, I am completely involved with our membership. Probably the only service where you actually get the phone number of the operator and you can call him or me, and that person, me, actually answers the phone. Tell me another service where that happens. It doesn't. This service is all about coaching and mentoring around the system that I have developed and then that we develop together in a continuous improvement process where we go over the strategies, the methods, and the process together. And it's a continuous improvement. And if you know anything about continuous improvement, you know that that means that we take our work and we time box it, and then we evaluate it. It's run on whatever we decided to do prior to that time box. At the end of that, we have a ceremony that we call the retrospective. And that's where we examine everything that we did, the things that we did well, not so well, potential improvements that we could do to that. We discuss that and then decide whether or not that change or some incremental change can be put into the next time box, and then so on and so on. So that's the essence of a sort of an agile continuous improvement process. That is all part of this, and that's part of what you would learn when you become a member. So that's 0-DTE. That dash is very important. Never forget that dash, because without the dash, you've got trash. I know that's silly, but it's true. 0-DTE.com/try, and you can give a try out to the service. A lot of members find that after that 4-week service, they actually make enough to pay for not just one, but several years of the service. And that's generally what happens. So I offer a year of service after that, and people gladly comply with that. So doing something right, and our attrition rate is extremely small. People leave mostly because they just don't have the time, or they're just some people it just doesn't work out for. But I can guarantee you this, when you're here, you're going to get world-class support. I've been doing coaching and mentoring to traders and the business world for the better part of 30 years. And in fact, I've provided coaching experience to C-level folk from Fortune 5s to Fortune 50s to mom and pop operations. So this is something that I know very well, and I'm very good at it. And so when you come here, you're going to get the attention that you deserve. You're going to get the kind of instruction if you need that instruction. You're going to get the coaching and keep you accountable. If you need mentoring, you'll get the mentoring. And you'll learn. You'll be able to make this system your own. And that's what's important. That's what's important to me, to provide that kind of value to you. All right. Can I repeat the website, please? Yes, 0-dte.com. That will bring you right to the trial page. You can go to 0-dte.com and then click the Start Here button, and then it will tell you all about it. And there's lots of information there on the site. Check it out. Go back to all the podcasts, the past 88 podcasts that I've done that talk about this service, and you can see the evolution through there. I think it'd be a great experience. All right, the final hour experiment, and it's not concluded. We're going to keep on doing this maybe for a little while longer, streaming live so that you can actually see what's going on. So make sure you come back in a little while at 3:30 and check out what we do in that last hour of expiration. Actually, this will be the last half hour. I cut it. We used to start at 3:15, but I realized that we never really took a trade until after 3:30. So show up at 3:30, watch what we do, see if this is something that you like and that you're interested in, that you could spend. Oh, by the way, there's another very interesting thing that's happening. The exchanges, the CBOE, Chicago Board of Exchange, and the CME have decided that no longer will they be doing 3 days a week on these expirations. They are going to then have expirations on Tuesdays and Thursdays as well. Now, there's something. Now, today is not a normal 0-DTE day. It's Thursday today, but that's because we have a holiday weekend, so they pushed it Friday to Thursday. But in the future, in the next few weeks, we're going to see 5 of these opportunities a week. And imagine being able to do really well for just half an hour's work, 3 days or 5 days a week, and be able to generate high probability trades, or be able to execute high probability trades and have a high expectancy of profit, doing an asymmetric risk to reward where you never feel like you're under pressure, you never feel anxious that you're in that trade because the risk is well defined and very, very small. And the opportunity is just boundless. It's really an incredible strategy. I encourage you to give it a try. You have nothing to lose but to try. All right, let's see. Yeah, the option expiry every day is not starting today. It's going to start, I think, in a couple of weeks. One of our members called up TD Ameritrade and asked them about it. They said that they weren't going to start it right on the day that they're going to release that, but it might be a day or two or maybe a week after that, then they'll start it. So then it will be 5 days a week. And yeah, 0-DTE mentorship. That's exactly right. Like I said, I provide world-class support to every member. We have group sessions. I have one-on-one sessions. I treat you the way you deserve to be treated. You will come out of this a lot like this whole paradigm of teach a man to fish. That's exactly what we do here. We teach you to fish, and then you make it your own. You figure out what fish you want to go after, how you're going to go after, what lure, what hook you're going to use, how much line and drag you're going to use. And you make this trade your own. But you learn the basic concepts, and you learn the continuous improvement process. You learn the methodologies, and you learn the strategies. So that's what it's all about. Not an alert service, although I provide alerts or recommended trades, we stage things, etc. But that's how it works here. We got to get going now. Sorry, but it's time to get to work and start preparing for the final hour. I like saying that. The final hour. I'm going to get that one of those over those speakers that does the movie things. And he says, but it'll be the final hour. That'll be a good intro to these. Anyways, peace to you all. Thank you very much. Oh, do we have another question? The 4-week trial, if you're committed, sounds fire. I'm committed. I struggle with 0-DTE. Didn't like it. Didn't like the people. All I can say is that the other services, they do it a certain way, which happens to be the exact opposite of the way we do it. I've tried those other services. It's a losing proposition in the long run. It's extremely anxiety-ridden, the trade. And if you start searching, you'll find all these people that say, don't do 0 DTE. It's crazy. Because, it feels like you're doing these nice high probability trades, and then bammo, you get smacked with this huge loss. And what we're doing, we do what I call the inversion of risk. We flip this whole thing on its side, upside down, so you never experience one of these huge risk events, ever. Instead, you experience these huge profit-making events. Like I said, the exact opposite. Zero anxiety trading, the best support that you can get. You're going to learn something that is truly valuable. All right. No more questions. Thank you very much for those questions. Really appreciate it. Peace to you all. And we'll see you. Oh, and have a wonderful holiday weekend. Happy Easter, Passover, and anything, I think, what else is there? Good Friday? Yes. Happy. Take care. See you Monday on the next 0 DTE. All right, now I gotta find that off button. I'm always looking for it. It's way up here.